Hey guys, back with another video. The actual hash rates are going to be down in the description down below since I am recording on top of both of my monitors are on. The video won't be showing the actual hash rates, so there's just going to be that little caveat, but as always, I show the memory type, which is micron, and then idle, it's about 33 to 34 watts on the software. And then at the wall, it is 162 to 163. So not including the GPU, it's about 130 watts for the whole system. So let us get started. The first one up is going to be Ergo. So this one, if I remember correctly, should be for the stock hash rate. It should be 117.25 mega hash at about 122 watts, if I'm not mistaken. So just barely breaking 1 to 1. So as you can see, well, usually the first tick is a little bit off or quite a bit off anyway. But I guess I'm just going to show about 3 or 4 ticks. And then I'm just going to put in the overclock. Also, just to show the temps. Yes, start. This is also going to eat into the hash rate somewhat too, so, Let's see if I can't just get through this real quickly. So we're getting 43 for the regular temperature. It looks like 58 to 60 C for the memory junction temperature, and a hotspot of 49.5 C. So with that, so I'll show the overclock, and then we're going to do for Ergo, you want to set the core clock to let's see here, 17 or 890. Let's see if we can fucking find it. Here we go. 890 millivolts at 2295. And then you want to take the core clock and set it back 502, and then bump the memory all the way up to 2000. And the actual hash rate for this should be 154 mega hash at actually no, my bad, 147.53 at roughly 96 watts. I was kind of surprised to see that the slider was actually was able to max all the way on out on the memory anyway. And this, I mean, pretty much ran stable the whole entire time I was testing it on out. A lot of the overclocks I'm about to show you, I pretty much maxed out the memory overclock, surprisingly. So a little bit off here, but anyway, I'm getting about 39 to about 40 C. For the regular temperature and memory junction temperature, it's 62 to 64 C. And then the hotspot is, looks like 46 for the most part, staying just pretty much flat right around there. Next up, we are getting into Ravencoin. So we reset that, and then Ravencoin. Yes. No, not what I want. So Ravencoin, we were getting, what was it? It was 28.82 megahash at 217 watts, at least on the software. So it's a little bit off. At the wall, I completely forgot to read off the one for Ergo. My bad. At the wall with stock settings. My God, can't talk today. We're getting 347 to 349 watts at the wall. And for the temperature, getting 56 to 58 C. For the memory junction temperature, 74 C. And for a hotspot of, looks like 67 to 68. So there is that. So the overclock you want to do, the power limits at 55, core of 250, was not able to bump it up to 300, and a memory overclock of 1,000. Every time I would bump up the memory clock, the hash rate would go up, but the problem was is it would literally just fluctuate from wherever it was at, the high point, and then it would just settle out to basically the overclock I'm showing here. Didn't matter if I did 2,000 memory overclock, 1,500 or whatever. This overclock should give 32.26 megahash at 157 watts, at least on the software. And then at the wall, we are getting 289 to 290 watts at the wall. The efficiency should put it at like, what is it, 205 for the efficiency. And then for Ergo, it should have been, what was it? For the efficiency, it was like 1.54, I believe. But this overclock for the temperature anyway, getting 50 C to 51 C for the regular temperature. For the memory junction temperature, looks like 78 to 80 C, and then a hotspot of 57 C. So there is that. So next up, we are doing, let's see here. Next up should be Flux. This one gets a little toasty. stock, we were getting about, well, it would fluctuate anywhere from 94 souls to 98 souls at 236.9 watts on the software. And then at the wall, currently we are getting 365 to 367 watts at the wall. And then let's see here. We're getting for a regular temperature of, it's kind of bouncing all over the place, but looks like 59 to about 62, 63 C, with the memory junction temperature of 72 to 73 C, and then a hot spot of 69 to 71. Oh, actually, I guess all the way up to 75 C. But yeah, this was the same deal. It's really weird because Flux and Ravencoin seem to, I guess, have both a balance of using both core and memory. So I guess there's a fine line on how much to use for both of them, because adding more to one or the other really doesn't do anything for the most part, which is why I really don't like messing with these two algorithms. But what do we get? One more tick. But a lot of these overclocks put the 4070 Ti like just under the 4090 for efficiency for, I think, almost half of them anyway, or just under both the 4090 and 4080. The card is pretty much all over the place. So yeah, it takes a second for it to kick on up, but let's see. And then for the overclock, we are going to do, let's see here, lock the core at 975 millivolts at 200 or 2610 for the frequency, and then we are going to go ahead and bump the core clock down by 502 and add 2000 memory. Now, this overclock should get, well, it still kind of fluctuates too, but this overclock should get around 100 souls at 193.5 watts on the software. And let me see what we're looking at on the wall. So it's bouncing anywhere from 321 watts to 325 watts. So still a little toasty, but looks to be, we are getting 52C to 56C for the regular temperature. For the memory junction temperature, looks like it's staying at a 72. I guess, to 74C and a hotspot of 61C to 65C. Also forgot to say, currently I think it's in my house right now for the temperatures 68 Fahrenheit as always, and outside, as you can kind of see in the PC over here, 26 Fahrenheit. This was, yeah, around the, well, a little bit more watts anyway. But like I said, it should be around, for the efficiency for this, about 0.52, give or take. But yeah, I'll have to go back and probably check the other two GPUs, the 4080 and 4090, to see if by now if I can up the memory on both of those, but that might not work on out all too well. But if they do, I'll be updating the final results for both of those cards in the respective videos in the description with new screenshots. Let's see, and then one more tick. Okay, so it doesn't want to participate. Let's see here. Next up should be ETC. Reset this bad boy. Huh? Okay, or don't. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't use this one. Go back to G minor. A little confused there. So the stock hash rate, we were sitting at about 55 to about 56. It's like 55.9 mega hash at 161 watts. And then for at the wall, it is sitting at 290 to 292 watts with a GPU temperature of 49C with a memory junction temperature of 78C, 78 to 80C, and then a hotspot of, it looks like, 56C. So not too hot. And then one more tick, I guess. And then I'll be showing the overclock. So pretty close. So this one, pretty much the same deal as, for the most part, Ergo. You want to set the millivolts to 890 with the core clock being 2295, and then you want to set the core clock back 502, and then memory clock of 2000. And this should pretty much result in a hash rate of 67.58 mega hash at 133 watts at the wall. and then at the wall. I said at the wall. On the software anyway, and then at the wall, we're getting about 263 to 265 watts at the wall. So we're just a little bit off from what I said, but getting a little bit cooler temperatures with this overclock. Sitting at looks like 43C with a memory junction temperature of 82C to 84C, and then a hotspot of 50C. So this one gets pretty close to the 4090 for efficiency anyway, which I like. But yeah, we'll be moving on to the next one. So that should be next up is Kaspa. And then for this one, I am going to be using LOL miner. Believe. Let me just see if the batch file. Okay, yeah. So this is just going to be stock. So this one for the stock settings, sitting at 1200 mega hash at 260 watts on the software. And then at the wall, sitting at, it's weird. Anyway, sitting at 200 and, oh wait, my dumbass. That's why. Whoops. Forgot to reset that bad boy. Okay, let's try this again. So much stuff to juggle. Anyway, yeah, 1200 mega hash at 260 watts on the software, and then at the wall, it's 377 watts to 380 watts at the wall. And those fans are definitely turning. So getting, looks like 70C to 71C for the temperature, and then I don't know how that's that low anyway. Memory junction temperature of 46C to 48C with a nice and hot and toasty hotspot of 89 to 93C. Just one thing to note, I will not be using the, what is it? The NVIDIA, what is it? SMC, LMC command code, in the sense of, for whatever reason, I cannot get the 810 to work. So I usually just set it to 820 because 810 just is not stable. I don't know why. It just doesn't work on the 4070 Ti and the 4080. I've only got it to work maybe once or twice, but versus using the 820, which sets the memory to 5001, versus 810, I was only losing out on, I don't even really think the whole 20 watts that you could be saving. I think it was more like 15, somewhere around there. But yeah, I'll just be showing that on off anyway. With the 820, and this bad boy is getting definitely toasty. Yeah, his algorithm probably melts GPUs. So if I remember correctly, this on the 4070 Ti, it didn't do all too well for Kaspa. Gonna go in here first and then show more, edit. Let's see. Set that to 820. Then file, save. Then what we're gonna do here is set the power limit to 63 and then this bad boy to 250. This should run a little bit cooler. Should. But let's see. With this overclock, you should get a hash rate of 1258 at 178 to 179 watts on the software. And then at the wall, getting 311 to 313 watts at the wall. Now, if you can get the 810 to work, this should be a little bit more efficient. But this was barely cracking an efficiency rating of 7.0, honestly. So I don't know if the 810 is just really unstable and it really only works on the 4090, or if I just have some defective or wonky cards. But yeah, it just wouldn't take for me. Or it just won't take for me now, even though I plugged in. Let's see, run as administrator. Do I really have to? Well, that's stupid, even though I've already set up. Okay. Sorry about all the blunders and stuff, but I already set it up to where it would run the program as an administrator for whatever reason, and it wouldn't take. That's very odd. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know if I have to wait for drivers or if I'm doing something wrong, which I might be. I'm not too sure, but if you can get the 810 to work, then you should save a little bit more watts, but still, the efficiency of this card is kind of for Kaspa. I mean, you could downclock the core and everything a lot more to make it more efficient, but you're just losing like tons of mega hash, honestly, just to make this more efficient. But I mean, I'm just trying to retain as much of the hash rate, if not gain a little bit more hash rate than what the stock settings are at, honestly. But let's see. we're getting 61C to 62C for the regular temperature, and then a memory junction temperature of 46C with a hot spot of 76C to 78C, looks like. But enough on that one since I botched that. Let's move on to, before I do anything, run this just to reset the memory. There we go. And then on to the next coin, which should be a Cortex. So we're gonna go back to G minor, run this bad boy, make sure my stuff, reset this. Yes. See. So for the stock, we had it at 5.22 graphs at 218 watts. And then at the wall, we're getting 344 to 351 watts. So we're a little off from that. But looks like the GPU temperature is sitting at what, 56C to okay, I guess oh, well, I'm getting different stuff between MSI and HW info, so I guess 56 to 62C, and then a memory junction temperature of 66 to 68C with a hotspot of 64 to 70C, or I guess 73, bouncing all over the place. The overclock in question is you want to go ahead and take the core and lock that at, where is it, 920 millivolts at 2430 for the frequency, and then set the memory all the way to 2000. And this should get us of a actual hash rate of 5.13 graphs at 153 watts. But one little caveat I forgot to mention is for Cortex, the stock hash rate anyway, like the longer you leave it running on this particular algorithm, the higher the hash rate goes. It takes like a good long while for it to actually even on out. The overclock that I'm showing here actually lands about as high as 5.22. I think it's like, if it's not 5.22, it's like 5.17. And then like the stock hash rate, it kind of falls the longer you leave it running, at least for stock, I guess, because for whatever reason it evens on out. But this was as close as I could pretty much get it. I mean, you could go one more tick up on the core clock for locking the core and everything, But I mean, this is pretty decent. As you can see, the efficiency goes to almost, what is it, 34 for the efficiency with this overclock. This is just a real weird algorithm, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know if I already read off the temperatures, but they're not too toasty. What is it? 49 to 52 C for the temperature, 68 C for the memory junction temperature, and a hotspot of, it looks like 56 to 59 C. But on to the next one, which should be good old Conflux. So for that, from going to T-Rex miner, using this bad boy. And as far as I can tell, well, first, the actual hash rate is 54.84, about 55 mega hash at 206 watts. I looked through everything, and I guess the developer or developers of Conflux didn't go through with changing the algorithm from Octopus to ET hash. So this still uses its original algorithm, but I mean, it still behaves pretty close to ET hash. So there's that. We are getting a GPU temperature of 58C to 59C, a memory junction temperature of 76C, and a hotspot of 67C to 68C. So for this one, what did we already do? Oh God, that's right. I hate, I hate when it does this. But for the overclock, you want to lock it at 890. At 2295 for the megahertz. And then you want to up the memory clock all the way to 2000 as well. When I tried to pull back the core clock by 502, it didn't really do anything, honestly. Like, adding more core clock or taking away core clock really just didn't do, honestly, anything. So I guess it's a completely memory intensive algorithm, it seems like. With this overclock, we should be getting 64.97, about 65 mega hash at 163 watts on the software. And then at the wall, it's 292 to 295 watts at the wall. Gets pretty close to Ethereum Classic and all the other forks of Ethereum, hash rate wise, I think the efficiency was sitting at roughly, what was it, 400 to 401 for the efficiency for this algorithm. That's overshooting it. But for the temperature, it looks like it is 50C about, with memory junction temperature of 80C to 82C, and then a hotspot of, looks like it's sitting around just at 56C. So not too shabby. We've got, I think, one more, and that is Radiant. But yeah, come on. That took a second. I'll reset this bad boy. For Radiant, this one acts or behaves pretty close to Kaspa, in the sense of you can use the little cheat code to save some power, and it gets about as toasty. Oh, okay. So, let's see here. So, stock hash rate and the wattage would be the stock hash rate. We set at about 1.69 gigahash at 247 watts. And then at the wall, currently we are getting 372 to 375 watts at the wall. So another Sartosti. And those fans are turning. So for the GPU temperature, it looks like 69C to 71C with a memory junction temperature of 48C and a hotspot of 90 to 91C. I think this is the hottest it has actually gotten, besides, actually, I think this is actually above Kaspa. So we can go ahead and do the overclock, but I have to edit, set this to 820, hit save, and then we're gonna come on over here and set this to 970 millivolts at 2610 for the megahertz. And then we're going to actually add a core clock of 250. And then we're going to, no. Almost forgot, since this doesn't really want to participate in running as an administrator. And this takes a second for this to actually kick in, but this should actually get us 1.72 graphs at 179 watts on the software. And then for the watts at the wall, we are getting 289 to 293. I am still fairly new to Radiant, so I'm not sure if this is the best method. Oh, nice, kind of rejected chair, but it seems like Radiant only really uses core clock. Honestly, I tried adding more memory and whatnot, but it didn't really do anything. But we are getting 57C to 58C for the regular temperature, with memory junction temperature being 42C and a hot spot of 71 to 72C, or just bounces all over the place. But that pretty much wraps up all of the coins I wanted to look at. But is the 4070 Ti worth it for mining? For certain coins, I'd have to say yes, but at the same time, it falls behind both the 4090 and 4080, at least with retaining most of its stock, if not more, hash rate. The whole price tag of $799, though, I mean, it's not the worst, but at the same time, it's definitely not the best. I guess it's kind of hit or miss. If this actually gets cheaper, considering the fact that they they've been pretty much sitting on shelves, and I guess it's been articles have been coming out talking about this is the best selling GPU of the 40 series, which I'm not buying that. I'd say probably wait for this to actually get a little bit cheaper. I'm pretty sure if no one really buys it, it'll definitely come down in price. I mean, 800 for a Ti variant when, what was it, the 3070 Ti MSRP was, I believe, 599. That's about like what, 33% markup, somewhere around there. I mean, the performance wise, I think, if I'm not mistaken, too, for gaming was around a 3090 Ti. But you're getting half the memory, actually. So, I mean, I guess it's not the worst GPU for both mining and gaming, but it's kind of caught in a weird spot of either, for at least mining, it's just under the 4090, or it's under the 4090 and 4080 for efficiency, and then for gaming, them saying, yeah, 3 times the performance. I don't know what Nvidia was smoking, but this one is hit or miss. Honestly. Thanks for watching. Bye.